If you are new here, like, subscribe, and show all your pals. We're bringing you elite rocketainment for fellas and gals. That's right, it's the Rocket Midnight Blue and Gold Launchpad podcast, brought to you by Whiskey Red Saloon. I'm Rocket Ryan Brandt, coming to you from the Sunshine State.
I am Pat Jellick, a.k.a. PJ Spiller, and nice open, Ryan.
I am Dan Rocket Man Savage.
I'm Nate the Texas Rocket.
And I'm Kyle W.
That's Kyle W. Smith, engineer, producer extraordinaire, and that intro was written by the one, the only Dan Rocketman Savage. We thought we'd just throw that little tidbit at you there and see what you thought.
It worked out well.
Oh, it's good. Well, hey, I was listening to the Rocket Coaches Show for about the first 10 minutes on the way home from work today, and Coach Candle brought up a good point. He said, two teams from the MAC lost to FCS opponents before last week's game with Morgan State. And he said he never saw his team practice so well throughout the week. First, seconds, thirds, they were all practicing hard, had a great week of practice, and it showed as the Rockets beat Morgan State 60-0. That's right, 6-0-0, not 16, 60-0. And I might be closest to that score. I said 55-3, or was that what I said?
You were right around there.
55-7.
Yeah, Nate won with the 56-3. He had the least amount given up, so we've got three different winners here from the Cavemen. It's somebody else's turn this week. So don't listen to my prediction, but we'll get to that later on in the episode. Boys, was that about the most entertaining from our standpoint, but that was the most impressive showing I've seen Toledo play maybe ever.
That second quarter, at least.
Yeah, that second quarter was insane.
Was 43 points in one quarter. That has to be a school record.
It is.
That's a MAC record.
Wow. Yeah, a slow start too, 3-0. I was like, see, I told you guys, Morgan State's they're pretty good.
And then they all took a good look at you about 10 minutes later.
Yeah, I was telling these guys here before also, someone beefing with us on the podcast page on Twitter, saying that it doesn't matter what you did, Morgan State's worse than D3 schools. We'll see about that. I think they're going to be a formidable opponent down at the FCS ranks.
Didn't they win week one like 55-7?
No, they played South Alabama, but they gave them a game. So they lost to Towson in week 2. But
that's right.
I think that team's going to be pretty good. Their quarterback was not as impressive as I made him out to be on this show, as we absolutely shut him down. But I believe that's more on our doing than his doing. Just a hell of a performance all around.
Yeah.
Oh, just like we said, at 3-0 at the beginning, I'm thinking, come on, guys, let's get her going here, and they really got her cranking. And I tell you, one of the things that impressed me was how many players got in the game. People that don't get the chance to see very often. Lucas LaRoche got 5 carries. Mike Drennan II got 3. I mean, Dane Nauman, he got 5. I mean, it was just a great balanced attack by the Rockets offensively. Defensively, what more can you say? Oh, my gosh, it looked like the second coming of the 71 team with Mel Long
right.
and Curtis Johnson. Geez, oh, Pete, what a absolutely dominating performance. As far as total yards go, 557 for the Rockets, 56 for Morgan State. That is just a dominating performance. 31-4 in terms of first down advantage for the Rockets. Nice balanced attack, 260 yards through the air, 269 on the ground. Just a fun game, one that was nice to be able to relax. And I told Kim, I said, this game's a blowout here, but I want to see some of these guys get in. I want to see Bryson Hammer get in at wide receiver, and he had a couple catches for 20 yards. In fact, he led the whole team in total
all-purpose yards.
Yardage.
No, we went back in the game, although many folks did not, because for that exact reason, we wanted to see the depth. And I think there's going to be a lot of games where our depth pieces are going to put out a lot of tape. It's going to be interesting to see how the offseason goes after we win the national championship, how many guys portal out because we played all our freshmen, but unbelievable. And, you named all those running backs that got carries. We saw a guy that played a little bit for us last year. Willie Shaw led the team in rushing this week. Good to see from that man.
I was so happy to see
that. Tied the team in rushing. Third string quarterback, Caleb Osborne.
Yeah, Caleb came in and did some running on his own.
Yeah, 49 yards as well for him and 30 through the air. What a third string quarterback comes in and does that. That's great.
Yeah, and
nothing wrong with it.
I was telling Paulie, sitting next to me, this kid came out of, I believe, Southfield, Michigan. Went to a private school, and it was Mr. Gatorade, Mr. Football in Michigan. And his senior year, he put up something like 3,800 yards on through the air and 1,800 on the ground. And he came out of nowhere his senior year, and he had Big Ten schools coming after him hard after we offered. But we offered first. You love the campus, love the coaches, and decided to stay. So we got a nice little piece of the future there.
Seems to be a reoccurring theme here over the last few years.
Yeah.
Well, your redshirt sophomore quarterbacks are still in the same room. The camaraderie is obviously there. Next season, I think we're going to have a real battle if John Allen Richter and Caleb stay. I don't know who's going to be the starting quarterback next season, but hell, I'll take more complete games from the whole quarterback room as we go on the rest of the season.
Yeah,
Tremendous.
Absolutely. Hey, did Noah Sanders get a carry in the game?
No.
Okay.
I didn't even see him in there.
They're probably redshirting him.
I would have to think so. Some other stats from the game, Tucker Gleason, 13 of 17, 174 yards, a touchdown. Richter, 10 of 14, 93 yards, 2 tutties. You mentioned Osborne's stats. 14 players had a reception. I mean, we talk about depth at the running back room. It's all over this team.
And even with spreading the ball like that, Vander Ross had a game.
Yeah.
Still wasn't the leading receiver, but it was leading receptions guy.
Two touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But Javon Brown?
Yeah, the freshman.
Oh, that guy. Having a 6'4" guy that we can, throw over the middle to, even over the top sometimes, that totally changes the dynamics of our offense. It's great to see.
Quinyon Mitchell's cousin from Williston, Florida.
Yep.
Interesting fact, Ryan. I had John Allen Richter's dad, Joe, on the bus with his brother, and they took a tour of the bus and enjoyed it. He had nothing but good things to say about the university, and they listen to us he listens to us all the time. He's an over the road trucker. So shout out to Joe Richter out there.
Heck yeah.
From Georgia boy.
That's right. And apparently Quinyon grew up 25 miles down the road from John Allen.
No, right across the Florida line, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow. Very cool to hear. Defensively, I mean, so many guys got in. I want to point out one guy that a lot of people might not be familiar with. It's a senior, Doran Ray Jr. He had a sack. He's been with Toledo for 4 years, never transferred out, backup defensive lineman. To see that guy come out and have a shining moment with the Rockets, that was really cool. We had a few sacks. Jeremiah Peters had one, and Sherman, the new linebacker from Hutchinson Community College. Yeah, he was a baller. 7 tackles, assist, and a sack. You can't. I mean,
4 TFLs.
Yeah,
and he leads the team in tackles on the season with 23.
Right, we kind of didn't know who was going to step up in the linebacker room. We thought it was maybe going to be Dapolonia, but Sherman's really made a name for himself.
The thing that still impresses me, it was kind of cool, guys. Of course, I would rather be at the Glass Bowl tailgating with you guys, but I was here just getting ready for the game, and I had the Rocket pregame show, and it was kind of fun, to be able to listen to that. And they brought up a good point, and we've probably talked about this, but for a guy in Chris Dapolonia that just played special teams last year to be voted a captain as a sophomore, I mean, what kind of leadership must that guy have?
Right.
I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, and especially within a room, I mean, the whole defense, that we have some studs like Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, who's also a captain, but there's a lot of senior leadership on this team, and that you have a guy that he's been there a while, but he hasn't really proved much on the field until this year. Yeah, very, very, very cool. Some final stats. There's a couple negatives. There's always something you can learn from in each game. We were 0 of 1 on 4th down. That's still been a bugaboo this year. I want to be able to convert in those close yardage situations. And we gave up a sack. So that's really the only negative I could come up with.
One more positive on the day. Morgan State went 0 for 12 on 3rd downs.
Wow.
We only had 31 first downs. Only.
I think another crazy stat is held them to 56 total yards, an average passing yard of 1.3, an average rushing of 1.1. That is, I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
You could get that out of a high school team.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
like Ohio State pounded Grambling last week, right? They still gave up 166 yards to Grambling. Like 56 is
Right.
unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you're getting down to the 3s and 4s.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And penalties improved. We went from 11 to 9 to this week only 7 for 65 yards. So if you're a betting man, exactly 5 against Western Michigan coming up.
We'll be down to 0 by the end of the
That's
season.
kind of the trend. I see how it's trending there, Dan. That's good, quick math.
Right. And last week we were a little bit worried about with our punting game. Thought the average was a tad low. A lot better. Only 3 punts, but 46.7 yard average. And
yeah, he brought his average on the season up to 42.
Right. And he's doing this thing because there wasn't much pressure. He just held it a while, and we caught 2 of them. So we camped under him. At good improvement to see out of the punt room. Hopefully we don't have to use them too much the rest of the way, but
really good coverage.
Yes. And we already talked about Nate's almost dead on score prediction. What are we thinking for players of the game, offense, defense, and special teams this week?
Well, special teams, there's no doubt in my mind it's got to be Bryson Hammer. I mean, he's been held down for quite a bit of last season and the beginning of this season as far as getting any breakaway runs, but finally he had a couple, and man, he can light up a stadium. I tell you what,
he's very patient.
Yes,
he reminds me of, like we had Bernard Reedy, who was just fast as hell, hit one hole and gone. He's a lot like Eric Page in the way that he sits around and you think, oh, he might get stopped. He just quick dodges a tackle and is gone.
Lets the blocks develop.
Right, yeah. 6 returns for 112 yards and 18.7 yard average. Some of that scoring was due to very good field position, and we give props to the helmet. I don't know if you guys can see it right here. The pride of Fremont Ross, as Rocket Ryan would say.
That's right, baby. And, I predicted last week, I think it was, that Bryson's going to break one sometime, and man, he almost did. Just got tripped up towards the end there, but he had a 41-yard return.
He had another 40-yarder that was they took back because of a penalty, and they punted it to him again, and he still had a good return.
Yeah, I know. It was great to see. And for a kid who was a walk-on and to get that scholarship towards the end of last year, and his mom. Here's a little trivia. His mom was taught by my sister-in-law in 5th grade at St. Joe Catholic Elementary School. So
I think I saw that in the program a couple games ago.
Yeah, they probably did.
Definitely in the game notes.
So shout out to Amy Coleman.
Right on. I'm going to take that as a unanimous Bryson Hammer for special teams player of the week. Offense, who are we looking at?
Offense, I'm going to go with Chip Trainum. Had, what do you have, 65 yards, 70 yards?
He only had 44, but
44.
But he had 2 touchdowns.
Right.
And there must have been something on film because those first 3 drives we were real slow. I don't know if they were stacking the box or mixing up their fronts, but we saw something and then immediately changed, and the running backs just took off from that point on. So even though our average in the running back room was 5.53, like the second quarter on, it was like 8.5 yards per rush. So
yeah,
I know. We talked about the 1 sack, but I got 2 for this game. One, I want to give the entire offense a big shout out for the second quarter. That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then I do want to give the offensive line a huge shout out. I mean, they basically moved where they want to, played where they want to after the first quarter. And, even with the backups rotating in, it was great depth to see. They played great.
Yep. On offense, I'm going to give player of the game to the whole running back room. I just like to see all the depth come out there and play and show that if there is an injury that happens to Kenji or Chip this year, we got some studs behind him. Very cool to see Kenji Christian get in the end zone twice this week, too.
I'm going to go with Willie Shaw III. I mean, this is a guy who's been with the program, it seems like, forever.
Yeah, I talked to Paulie, and I said, hasn't he been here for 7 years?
They call him Dr. Shaw now.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Dr. Scholl.
Right.
Anyway, so, yeah, Willie, I mean, he's a guy Coach Candle's been so high on over the years. I think he just loves the kid so much and is waiting for him to break out. He's had some injury problems, but just to see him lead the way, tied with Caleb Osborne, Nate. 49 yards, averaged 6.1 yards a carry, had a long of 20 yards and 49 total yards on 8 carries. So, yeah, just Willie Shaw III is my guy.
I'm going to go kind of like Dan's approach, but I'm going to go a little different position. I'm going to go quarterback room. Tucker Gleason coming back. He got banged up last week, looked good this week. And John Allen Richter, again, came in the game. You don't really see a skip a beat when you see him come in. So I think that's good. Again, you don't want your whole season if something happened to Gleason. You want to know that you have a security net back there. And I think John Allen Richter the last 2 weeks to come in and play good ball, and it was also good to see Caleb come in and show what he can do too. So I'm gonna go the whole quarterback room for the players of the game.
I love
Can't
watching
argue with
John
that.
Allen just throw. He has just a pure motion. That ball looks great coming out. Just a pure quarterback.
Yeah, and it's a cannon too.
Yeah.
He's a nice size quarterback, 6'3", 225. I mean, that's next level size right there.
Right on. Yeah, 26 receptions, only 11 incompletions. And that's with a lot of guys you're not probably used to playing with in practice. You're mixing up the second and third stringers and stuff. So, yeah, bravo quarterback room. On defense, I'll get it started off. I'm going Jeremiah Peters, mostly because on his sack, he had a really cool celebration. He ran into the student section and did something. I don't know what it was, but I really liked it. And for a guy that's stuck around and gone through so much turmoil here in Toledo, he was my guy for this week against Morgan State.
Good call.
I'm going to go Kevon Sherman. The whole defense looked great all game, but he was one dude that looked dialed in, and he stood out to me.
I'm going the same route. I thought, who is this guy Sherman? They keep calling his name.
That one sack he had, he just went in like, pun intended, a rocket.
Oh yeah,
it was crazy.
He shot in like a bolt, but it was kept hearing his name, and then I looked up his stats in the season, and he's the leading tackler on the team very quietly. He's come through pretty big in the last couple games and hasn't had a lot of publicity, so he's my guy of the week.
I'm going to go with my boy Sherman and his dog, Mr. Peabody. You know what I'm talking about there, Pat?
Oh yeah,
Bullwinkle,
Sherman and
Rocky show?
Peabody.
It's not Sherman Williams, as a lot of people call my line of work.
Oh yeah, Sherman Williams. His twin Sherwin.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, again, once again, as Dan brought up, 9 total tackles, a sack, and 4 tackles for loss, and that's my guy.
Listen, I'm knocked on the head. I'm just gonna go the whole defense. I mean, they just hold the team to 56 points. It's just great performance. So I'm just gonna go the whole entire defense. Just give them all a crown today.
Yeah, full team effort this week. Looking around the conference, not the best week for the MAC. We saw some pounding. Central Michigan was. I think Michigan had a little bit of reason to get fired up against the Chips this week.
Yeah.
But down in Wood County, Bowling Green, they're one of their record attendance for homecoming or something like that. They smacked down on Liberty pretty good. Liberty even scored in garbage time. But they had 4 turnovers. And I saw in the last tipped interception from Bowling Green, the guy jumped up to celebration and he pulled a hammy. He had to limp off the field when he jumped. I was like, God, that sucks. But hopefully he's all right.
Like some old guys like Pat and I would do.
Right.
Right.
Dave, I don't know if you read Dave Briggs' column though. It was pretty cool talking about how Bowling Green just basically manhandled Liberty, a school that has what is their budget, $28 million a year, while Bowling Green's is $4 million.
Yeah.
They pay their coach Jamie Chadwell $4 million a year, while Eddie George is getting $700,000. I mean, that's kind of cool to see them do that well. And even though it is Bowling Green, it's always fun. It'll be fun to have them with maybe one loss when we go down and beat them.
They play Louisville this week, so it might be.
Oh, okay, too.
Yeah. And for people that are planning on going there, get your tickets now.
Yeah, for sure.
They're gonna sell very fast. We still don't have a game time for that yet. I assume it's in the middle of the afternoon, but heck, that could be a night game on national television. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, they almost sold out Saturday.
Yeah. Buffalo really struggled with Kent State. They took them a last-minute drive to pull that one out. Both teams were just big plays galore. It's a good little 11-minute watch if you have the quick replay on YouTube. And then Eastern Michigan gave up $1 billion to Kentucky, but they scored 23 and they had 400+ yards of offense. So Eastern Michigan can't stop a leak on a boat that is not made out of boat materials, but they can score. So we don't play them this year. Just a fun little MAC tidbit.
All right, should we go into this week's game? A trip up to Waldo Stadium to take on Western Michigan. Rockets 2-1, Western 0-3. Rockets lead the overall series 46-32 and won the last meeting in 2023 in Toledo 49-31. And that game's on ESPN Plus, 3:30 kickoff. Radio Network, Rocket Radio Network, I should say, begins at 2:30 p.m. So those are the stats that I have for you.
I tell you what, Waldo Stadium is not an easy place for the Rockets to play.
No, it is not. It is actually a little house of horrors, as they say. But we don't play them the week after Thanksgiving, finally. So let's get back to 2018 style and give them a beating. I think they're definitely a solid defensive team. I've got a bunch of stats, but even before that, if you cannot make it to Hullabaloo, Michigan to watch them in person, go over to Whiskey Red, a little watch party in the middle of the afternoon. Good place. I just had a pizza there the last couple days. It was unbelievable. You wouldn't think a spot like that has good pizza, but they do. Get yourself a cold beverage and watch the Rockets downtown in the historic Commodore Perry building. So they opened up the year with Michigan State. Now, that's not a team that you really expect that they could hang with, but in the first half, they really did. It was a really close game.
Yeah, it was.
They had a pick six in like the last 2 minutes, and they only lost 23-6. They won the second half by 4 points, but 217 total yards, nothing crazy. Then they played a team that's also 3-0 out of the American, North Texas, and they lost in overtime 33-30, but they were up 17-7 at the half. They kind of blew that one away. They had 305 total yards against UNT. Their quarterback, Lowry, though, had 12 carries for 66 yards. He's a runner first. They've only thrown 1 touchdown this year, and it was to Buckley, their running back. So run defense has to really show up this week. One thing that was a little goofy from that game, their kicker, Palmer Domschke, can't really, whatever his name is, he doinked in 2 field goals in that North Texas game. It's really hard to do. Jalen Buckley's their number 1 guy on offense, their running back. He was like freshman of the year last year in the conference. He had 30 carries against North Texas and hasn't had more than 10 against Michigan State or the last week's opponent, Illinois. And they did not score against Illinois, but it was only 10-0 at halftime. So I think these Big Ten teams kind of just wore them out as the game went on. They might not have a ton of depth, but I think defensively it's up there with us in Ohio, and Northern is one of the best in the league. So it might not be as high scoring as we saw the last 2 weeks on our end.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of research on my end as well. Offense, like Dan said, I think the best film to watch is the North Texas game.
Right.
And I think they had like 230 yards rushing.
Yeah.
They really leaned on that run game. What I think they're going to try to do is with their defense, what I saw with Michigan State is they were very aggressive. They were in the backfield. They definitely got pressure on Michigan State. Mm-hmm. And Chris O'Leary is their defensive coordinator. I believe he was with the Chargers as their safeties coach in 2024. So he's brand new. He wants to create pressure with that front seven. And what I think they want to try to do is basically force Toledo into 3 and outs and then control the clock with the run game. Keep the score low. What I'd like to see Toledo do is if they bring that pressure, just throw it over top. Do what you do best.
Yeah, it's weird, too, that they're 5 of their leading tacklers are all DBs. So that makes me think that they're getting pressure with the D-line, and then the DBs are clamping in and they're making the tackles. So very good insight there. Their one linebacker to watch for, his name's Jeffa Sayapia or Sayapea or Sapa, I don't know. He's got 18 tackles on the season, 1 sack. He's a big boy in the middle. And they got 2 other guys with 2.5 sacks, Nadame Tucker and Rodney McGraw. So they're the big boys on the D-line. And they've actually been pretty good on their average return yards from kickoffs. I think they do the two returner system, and both of them have been pretty good. So got to shore up tackling in the special teams this week.
If Toledo can limit that run game and force them to throw, it's game over.
Yeah.
I will say this: I watched that Michigan State game as well, and I felt like their game plan was definitely try and get pressure on Childs, and I feel like they did that, and he made some bad throws. I think our advantages, I think Gleason is a lot more of an accurate passer than Childs is. So if they bring pressure and we can get that ball off, I think we're going to have some big gains there with our receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Do we have any keys to the game? I know I didn't put that on the rundown, but I feel like someone's got to have something else to add. Like what have we done not that well? I mean, penalties keep getting less and less. That's always a good thing to root for.
Well, also, I think, we've seen improvement from the O-line the last couple of weeks. They have to continue to improve, because if they're going to try and run it down our throat and control the clock, that obviously it's going to fall a lot on the O-line.
So I don't know if you can gauge last week on quarterback pressure with the defense, honestly. I'd like to see that continued this week.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I think that, my main key is just keep the pedal to the metal. Just keep full throttle all game. Looking at the rest of our schedule, this is probably one of the tougher games. Is Waldo's the student section is going to be packed there. It's early in the season. They've had a brutal schedule, so they've seen some teams that obviously can play defense like Michigan State and Illinois, so they're not going to be scared of us. So I think just keep full throttle, and we might get to see our starters play more than a half in this game.
Right.
Toledo's lost 3 of its last 4 at Waldo Stadium, so they haven't won there since 2018. And so it's one of those deals where, you got to go in there with confidence and just forget the past and start a new winning streak up there.
I agree. I think we're on to score predictions now. I'll kick her off. I'm going to go 35-10. I think it takes us a little bit to get going, and we punch it in once or twice in the fourth quarter. Maybe a turnover or something gives them good field position, and they run one in, but I still am pretty confident. The spread is, I got it at 14.5. I think it's at 13.5 now. I'm still pretty confident that we cover that spread.
Yeah, I think we cover for sure. And what was your score prediction?
35-10.
35-10. So I'm going with the same Western score, but I'm going to say 28-10. I think we're going to score. We're going to probably see the second, third string in the second half at some point. And, I think it'll be a solid performance, but nothing overwhelming.
I think Western's going to cover the spread, but it's going to be 28-14 Rockets.
Ooh, right on that line. So that means I got the bad end of the hook if I got it at 14.5.
What do you think, Big Nate?
I'm going a little bit higher score for those. I'm going to go 42-13. And then I also have another Gracie score prediction, and she's going higher than all of us. And she's going 49 Rockets, 21 Western. So she likes a high scoring game.
She likes the over.
Yeah, she likes the over, and I think we're going to move the ball. I think we're going to put up some points.
I think
Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Her picks. Yeah.
Yeah, there should be a new segment called Gracie's Greasy Picks.
Greasy? Dang.
She covered the point spread.
So I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to bet on our defense, and I'm going to say our speed on the field on defense shuts down their RPO. It forces them to pass, which is what they don't want to do.
Right.
I'm going to say 35-6.
Wow.
Toledo.
Right. A couple field goals or a missed extra point. All right, or a missed extra point. It can't be and.
Maybe they'll doink in 2 more field goals. That'll be the 6.
Yeah.
There you go.
The doinker.
So, hey, before we get going here, guys, group of 5 guys, Dan posted on our group chat about the prediction for the playoff percentage chances for the group of 5 teams. And Rockets are still in there at a 3.5% chance. Of course, Memphis, 27.5% chance. Tulane is next, followed by Old Dominion, USF, and UNT.
They're climbing up a little bit on the percentage.
If you want to check out any of those teams, Memphis plays Arkansas this week at noon.
At home, too.
Yep, at Memphis. Then you got another big one, UNLV at Miami, Ohio. It's a big one for the MAC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the group of 5. And then North Texas plays Army. So those are some good group of 5 in contention teams to watch. Also wanted to throw in the updated after week 3 bowl predictions for Toledo. Still, one of them is the Boca Raton Bowl still versus Boise State.
Yes.
And then one of them did switch. The second one is the Game of Both Bowl in Detroit, and that is Toledo versus Michigan State right now.
So if we're 12-1 and we're ranked, that'd be a hell of a consolation prize. Because obviously we showed out there against Pittsburgh last year in the bowl game, but I believe Michigan State plays one of their opponents this year at Ford Field too. So it'd be two of our teams, that have been there recently and battle the fan bases. For me and you, Nate, that'd be really fun.
It's a win-win, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, Toledo's got to win the game. They might cancel our future schedule with them if we beat them, but I'll take the payout there and beat them in a bowl game.
Sounds good.
Also, one more tidbit before we put a bow on this. If anyone listens and they're in the state of Georgia and they're close to Georgia Tech or planning on going to Georgia Tech this weekend, I will be at Georgia Tech if anyone wants to come say hi.
Who do the Yellow Jackets have?
They have Temple this week.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of my best bets of the week was Georgia Tech covering like the 20.5 or whatever the spread was. Haynes King, hell of a future for Heisman. If you get that early, you might get some decent odds still. Their schedule is cake. They look like they're possibly going to the ACC championship this year.
Wow.
Damn.
Bold prediction
bold
here.
Statements.
Not that bold. If you look at their schedule, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I don't see much traffic. I don't think they play Miami. I don't think they play Clemson again because they just beat them.
Play Va Tech, twice?
Yeah, right, yeah. Boston College twice.
Probably a non-conference game or whatever. That's so stupid, these teams. It's not considered non-conference because whatever.
Arizona just did that with Kansas State this week. It was a non-conference game, and they're both in the Big 12, so weird.
Right.
What the hell did you?
And was it Virginia Tech and NC State did the same thing for some reason?
Yeah.
We're in the upside down.
Yeah. All messed up around here. Well, Pat, you want to make your traditional...
Let's put a bow on this bitch.
Hey,
there you go.
Emphatic.
I like it. All right, on behalf of our sponsor, Whiskey Red Saloon, down in the classic Commodore Perry Hotel, now apartment complex. Thank you for joining us here on the Midnight Blue and Gold Launchpad podcast. On behalf of engineer, producer extraordinaire Kyle W. Smith, I am Rocket Ryan Brandt.
I am PJ Spiller.
I am Dan Rocket Man Savage.
And I'm Nate the Texas Rocket.
Have a good night, everybody. Go Rockets. TOL.
EDO.